Well, thank you one and all for joining me again today. This is your host, ID Jester. We are taking a comprehensive look at the rules of the Advanced Squad Leader system. Hopefully you've been able to follow along through this series. And as promised from last episode, we are going to talk about rallying these units that have become broken in the rules associated with them. When we're talking about rallying, we're talking about Section A of the rulebook, subsection 10.6. Rally broken units of both sides may attempt to rally during the rally phase if a good order friendly leader is present in the same location. In addition, Finns, broken leaders, and crews, as well as one multi-man counter per player turn, may attempt self-rally without the presence of a good order leader. To rally, a broken unit must make a die roll less than or equal to the morale number on his broken side. The leadership modifier of any good order leader attempting to rally a broken unit modifies the rally die roll. No unit may attempt to rally more than once in a player turn, regardless of any self-rally capabilities or leader access. However, one leader may attempt to individually rally all of the broken units in his location. Section 10.61 shows that we have a terrain bonus. There is a -1 die roll modifier to any infantry rally attempt which occurs in a building, a pillbox, a trench, or woods hex. 10.63 self-rally. All personnel units whose morale level on the lower right-hand corner, lower right of the broken side is encased in a square have self-rally capabilities. In addition, one multi-man counter may attempt field promotion as the first multi-man counter rally attempt of its own player turn. In addition, any unit attempting self-rally must add a +1 die roll modifier, and self-rally can never occur in a location containing a good order friendly leader. That's a lot of stuff we had talked about, but I'm going to show you some comprehensive examples here in a minute. I just think we should finish the rules up so you have a pretty good understanding of what we're doing when we go into rallying our units. 10.64, a broken unit which rolls an original 12 die roll while attempting to rally suffers casualty reduction and does not rally. And finally, 10.71, a broken leader may attempt self-rally unless in the same location with another unbroken leader. If the only leader stacked with a broken unit himself is broken, those units may not attempt to rally unless the leader succeeds in rallying himself first. Having rallied himself, the leader may then attempt to rally any remaining broken units in his location during that rally phase. So there's not too many rules associated with rallying. It's pretty easy, but there are some very interesting things. And most importantly, when it is your player turn, you're going to be able to make one multi-man counter attempt a free rally check without the assistance of a leader when it is your turn. So let's look at our example here. We still have some things going on in this little scenario I put together here. And if you watched our last episode, I kind of moved some few counters around and trying to give some good examples here. You can tell by our phase disc, it is the rally phase, and it is the German player's turn. So it is the German player rally phase, and if we look back at the rules, remember that if it is your turn, you get to, in addition, one multi-man counter may attempt field promotion as the first multi-man rally attempt of its own player turn. So what exactly does that mean? Well, basically we know that if we have a leader in a hex, that leader is going to be able to assist any units that are broken in trying to rally them. So if we look at P7, we don't have any broken units. We don't have to worry about that. Q9 here has a broken unit, but it doesn't have a leader with him. So unless he has a leader with him, he's not going to be able to rally. If we look at N6, again, we have a broken unit, but it has a leader, so that unit's going to be able to be assisted with the leader. We have this unit in L5 here that has broken. Again, not going to be able to rally because there's no leader present. In I2, there's no broken units. J2, we have a broken unit, but we have a leader with that. In I3, we have a broken unit, but we have a leader with that. And we have an H3, we have a broken unit without a leader. So our first rally attempt is going to try to be with a unit, a multi-man counter, that does not have a leader that can assist him. And we have choices between Q9, L5, and H3. These two counters, or these two in H3 and L5, already have a desperation morale counter on them. So they're going to be harder to rally in that case. So the German player decides he wants to spend his first rally attempt on the unit in Q9. Again, it has to be a unit without a leader able to give it self-rally, or it can't be a unit in a location containing a good order friendly unit, or leader, sorry. So Q9, he decides he's going to do Q9. And again, we remember if we looked at our rules here, we need to make a die roll less than or equal to the morale number on the backside of the unit, but there are some modifiers that we need to look at. First modifier is 10.61. You get a -1 if you are in a building, a pillbox, a trench, or woods, and if you are attempting self-rally, you must add +1 to the die roll modifier. So let's see if any of these apply. Well, first thing we'll do is just slide him aside. We can see he's in a wood hex. A wood hex gives him a -1 to his rally attempt, but he is self-rallying, which gives him a +1. So a +1 and a -1 cancel each other out. So this unit is going to roll the dice here. Let's see how well he does. And let's hope the dice work in our favor here to give us some good results. So he rolls a 6 and a 5. He rolls an 11. This unit is an 8. So he's rolled higher than his morale check, but he did not roll a natural 12. He did not roll a natural 12, so he doesn't have to worry about casualty reduction. And he will be, he does not pass his morale check. So at this point, the German player will then go to, say, N6. He has a unit in that hex, and he will then try to rally that unit since it has a good ordered leader in that hex. So he has an 8 morale. He has a +4 die roll modifier to his rally attempt. He is getting a -1 from the leader, and let's see what he is in. He's not in any of the terrain that's going to give him a bonus. So he is going to receive a die roll modifier of +4 for the counter, a -1 for the leader, and that's going to give him +3 to his die roll. And so he will attempt his die roll, and he rolls a 6 and a 6. Well, the dice are starting to play into our consideration here, because that brings up our rule of 10.64. Broken unit which rolls an original die roll of 12 while attempting to rally suffers casualty reduction and does not rally. So unfortunately for the German player, he is now going to become a half squad instead of a full squad. Half of his units has disappeared from that rally attempt, and of course he doesn't rally. He does remove the DM counter though, and we will move on to the next unit. Next unit, L5, cannot attempt to rally because there's no leader in his hex. He's already used his one free rally attempt for the turn, so we can just remove this counter. Or you can wait till the end of the phase to remove all these counters, or sometimes it's easier just to do it as you progress through your units, so you know which units have already attempted, and you can make sure you don't forget to take off those DM counters. In J2, we have a unit here that's going to be trying to rally. You can see that it has a morale of 6. It gets a +4 to his die roll modifier, but he is in, yes, he is in a building hex, which is going to give him a -1 die roll modifier, and the leader in this case is a dash, or a -0, so the leader's not going to give him any bonus whatsoever there. So die roll modifier of +4 -1 is going to give him a +3, and he needs to roll a total of 6 or less. He rolls a 7, +3 is 10, so he does not rally, and a counter, his DM counter is removed off of him. Lastly, or not lastly, but the German player then goes to I3. Again, we have to find out what terrain. Let's scoot these guys aside. Okay, so he is in a building hex, so he's going to get a -1 modifier for that. He's going to get his +4 modifier for the DM counter, so that's a +3 to his dice roll. You can see that this is a boxed unit. You can see that the 8 is actually inside a box, but he can't attempt self-rally because there is another good order leader in his hex. So he cannot attempt a self-rally. He's going to get rallied by his other leader there, which is going to give him no modifier. So +4, he's in a building hex, so that's a -1, so he's going to get a +3 to his die roll. And let's see what happens. 5 and 3 is 8, +3 is 11, so he does not rally either, so he removes his DM counter. And last but not least, H3. This unit here cannot attempt rally because he doesn't have any self-rally capabilities because his morale on the back isn't inside a box. And there's no good order leader in his hex, but he gets rid of his DM counter. So that is the end of the German rally phase. So now we move on to the American player turn. The American player, it's not his turn. He is not the attacker for the turn, so it's not his turn. He's a defender, so he does not get that bonus 1 free 1 multi-man counter may attempt field promotion as the first rally attempt of its own player turn. So that's the important part. I wish, this is so important, this rule here, that I wish it would have had its own subsection to kind of stand out. I hate when they put these very, very important rules inside a paragraph of other important rules, and then it can kind of get been forgotten about or not known about. But this is one of the important rules. When it is your player turn, you get 1 free multi-man counter may attempt a rally. It's the first rally attempt. So we know it's the German player turn because of our phase dis here. So the American player, let's look at his units and see what he's got going on here. He's got U4. He has got a broken leader. He has got 2 broken units in that hex. They're all under a DM counter, so they're all going to add that DM penalty. This unit is okay. The unit in R2, that is German. Oh, we forgot this guy. We'll just remove his counter because he couldn't self-rally. In P2, those are all okay. And last but not least, O1, he has a couple broken units that are under a DM counter, and he has a good order leader. So we'll go ahead and start there. So this leader is a -1 modifier. Let's see if we have, we do. He's inside one of the terrain hexes. Remember, the terrain hexes are buildings, pillboxes, trenches, and woods. Those all give you a -1 modifier. So if we look back at our unit here, we'll do the 7 first. It's a half squad. We can tell that by the 2 silhouettes in the back. We're going to get a +4 modifier because of the DM penalty. We're going to get a -1 because of our leader. We're also going to get another -1 because we're in a building hex. So we got a +4 modifier. We have a -2 modifier. So that's going to give us +2. Let's roll for that unit and see what happens. He rolls a 10, +2 is 12. That's more than his total. But he does not suffer the casualty reduction because remember that's an original die roll of 12. You have to roll a 6 and a 6. That's not 12 after all the modifiers. So he does not rally. We'll do the next unit. He has the same bonus and penalties. He has a -1 for the leader, -1 for the building, and he's got a +4 for the DM counter. So he's going to have a +2 to his die roll. And he will roll a 5, 6, 7, +2 is 9. He almost made it, but just didn't do it. So both of those units are the DM counters removed off of these units. And we can move on to the last units over here. And this brings up another good point of the rules. Remember, we have a leader in that hex that can self-rally because see that 9 is inside a box. When he's doing his self-rally, you're going to get a +1 to your modifier. Let's see what terrain they're in. Let's just scoot these guys. They are in a building, so you will get a -1 for the building. He will get a +1 because of his self-rally, and he will get a +4 because of the DM counter. So +5 -1 is +4 to his die roll. He has 2 other broken units in the hex, so the only way these other units can get rallied is if that leader can rally himself. Then at that point he can then rally the other units in there. So let's see if the American player's lucky and can get those units rallied. So we'll do the leader. Leader rolls a 6 plus, what was the total? 4. It was a +5 -1, so +4, so 6 plus 4 is 10. Oh, he just missed it. So at that point, the leader cannot rally those other units in the hex. So the DM counter is removed, and everybody will stay the same. Let's just say, for example, really quickly, let's say this leader rolled something like this, a 2 and a 1, and was able to rally. So he is going to unbreak. At that point, this leader can then try to rally the other units in his location. So we'll go ahead and give a quick example of that. We have a 7. It's a -1 because of the leader. We have a -1 because he's in a building, and a +4, so he's going to add +4 -2, so it's going to be a +2. He rolls a 1 and a 2, so he rallies. So we're going to flip him over to his other side, and he's back to normal. And of course, we have a full squad down here who is an 8. He's going to get a -1 for the building. He's going to get a -1 for the leader. He's going to get a +4 because of the DM counter. So we're looking at a +2 to his die roll. And he rolls a 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 is exactly, remember you need equal to or less than. So at that point, he rallies as well. So you can see by that leader not rallying the first example, he would have 3 broken units in there. But because we redid it and kind of give him another chance just to see what would happen if he had another opportunity. So as just an example, I gave him another roll, and we kind of ignored the first roll. But with him rallying, then he can then help those other units to rally in his hex. And of course, at the end of the turn, you would remove all the DM counters. And like I said, once you want to keep the DM counters on until all the units in the hex rally, and then you can take it off, or you can wait until the end of the turn and remove all the DM counters at the same time. It's just easier for me to do it, at least in Vassal, with removing them one as they go. So hopefully that'll cover the rally rules and show you some examples of what we're talking about when we're talking about rallying. Remember the different modifiers you get. If you're self-rallying, you get a +1 modifier. And if you're in one of those special terrain hexes, you're going to get a -1 modifier. And of course, if you have a good order leader in your hex, he's going to apply any of his modifiers as well. Remember the situation we had over here in I3, where we had a leader in a hex with another leader. The leader can't rally when he's in a hex with, or you can't self-rally when you're in a hex with a leader. So that's actually kind of helpful because self-rallying gives you a +1 modifier. So if you can have somebody else help you, you don't have to worry about that self-1 modifier. And remember, most importantly, if it is your player turn, in this case it was the Axis player turn, for the first rally you can try to get a unit that doesn't have anybody, any leader in his hex to help him rally. You can do one unit for free as the first rally attempt to try and get some field promotion out of him. So there we go. That is a rally in about 15 minutes. It's not too complex. There's not too many rules really associated with it. It's just understanding the basics and a couple of the weird kind of rules that apply to rallying with self-rallying. If it's your player turn, making sure that you have a rally attempt for some unit that can't be rallied by some other source. And hopefully we'll move on from here. And now that we know how to rally, we'll be adding that to our rule sets as we move throughout the Advanced Squad Leader system. So thanks for watching. This is your host, ID Jester.